walked the journey of ensuring that Kenyans get a free, fair, and credible election. It's not been an easy journey. Right now, 2 of my commissioners and the CEO are injured. And of course, they are being treated. We have staff who have been profiled. There's a staff returning officer in Bakassi West who disappeared while on duty. We have staff who have been arbitrarily arrested for no reasons. We don't know where they are. Some from this National Tallying Center. But we have a constitutional duty to perform. And that's why I stand before you today, despite intimidation, harassment, I took an oath of office to serve this country. And I've done my duty in accordance with the Constitution and the laws of the land. And I feel proud that I've been given this opportunity to serve Kenyans. This, of course, will be my last election to preside over. And for those who will come, we have prepared for you what the Constitution envisaged from us, an independent electoral commission. So I just want to thank the staff of IEBC, the soldiers who braved insults, harassment, and delivered right from the constituencies to the counties and up to the National Tallying Center. I want to thank stakeholders, state and non-state stakeholders who have worked with us on this journey, and more particularly the members of the diplomatic community and the religious leaders who have been keeping vigil at this center for the last 3 days. They have been here throughout, 24 hours a day. So Kenyans came out and voted on the 9th of August, and these are the results of what the will of the Kenyan people reflects. These results are in the public portal. The same results which I'm reading here are the ones in the public portal. So there were 4 presidential candidates. These are the aggregated results. Odinga Raila, total valid votes, 6,942,930. And this represents 48.85% of the votes garnered, and he achieved a number of counties the candidate attained with at least 25% of the total valid votes cast is 34 counties. Ruto William Samoei, number of valid votes, 7 million. Thank you. 7,176,141. This represents 50.49%. And he achieved the minimum number of 39 counties at 25%. Waihika David Maure, number of valid votes in figures 31,987. That represents 0.23%. Number of counties with a minimum of 25%, 0. Wachakoya George Luchiri, 61,969. Those are valid votes. Percentage of votes cast 0.44%. And number of counties with a minimum of 25% attained, 0. So, in accordance with the law, the Constitution and the law, I, Wafula Chebukati, Chairperson of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, hereby declares that Ruto William Samoei of ID number 6847208 has been duly elected as the President of the Republic of Kenya under the provisions of Article 138 of the Constitution in the presidential election held on 9th of day of August 2022. And I'll proceed to sign the certificate. I invite the President-elect to come forward and receive his certificate.
Habari njema kwa Wakenya wote, tume huru ya uchaguzi na mipaka isiyoegemea upande wowote, inayodumisha demokrasi Kenya. Kura yako ni siku zako za usoni, chagua uongozi utajivunia. IEBC,
jihusishe na upige kura,
IEBC,
inaleta mabadiliko.
Yes, because that was Wafula, that is the late, the chairman of the IEBC, Wafula Chebukati, who lost, who passed away today. We lost Wafula Chebukati today in one of the hospitals in Nairobi, Kenya. What we say here in Africa 24, we say that he served the country diligently and may his soul rest in peace. We have been seeing a lot of leaders sending their heartfelt condolences to the family of Wafula Chebukati, and also Kenyans raising controversy when it comes to the death of Wafula Chebukati. And of course, you know, in Africa 24, we give you the best platforms when it comes to these news, political news, and of course, when it comes to analyzing. And we say that may Wafula Chebukati soul rest in peace. And we prepared some of the pictorials for Wafula Chebukati so that we can also say goodbye to the chairman. As of course, some of the leaders are saying that he stood firm so that he can announce the president William Ruto as the winner of 2022 general elections. Of course, we saw the president had felt condolences after he got the news while he was attending one of the burials in Coastal region. That was the father of Amason Kingi. Also, today we saw a lot of leaders, but we have not seen any response from the Azimio and also the former, that is the fourth president of the Republic of Kenya. Wafula Chebukati when he was presenting that letter for the win in 2022 general election. And you can see from what we have played over there, the president was there together with the First Lady Rachel Ruto when they were attending that announcement of the 2022 general elections. Of course, Buru karibu sana. We lost Wafula Chebukati. How does this death of Wafula Chebukati, does it affect our country either negatively or positively? Basing on the argument that Kenyans are raising in the social media, a lot of comments are being raised. People are trying to give their opinion and ideas about the death of the former chairman of the IEBC who died at the age of 63 years old, because he's a former lawyer.
Bonnie, give me a minute. I'm still setting my gadgets here.
Yes, Buru, of course. This is Wafula Chebukati. And Wafula Chebukati, he has been praised by several leaders. And when I was following some of the different messages that were sent by leaders, I've not seen message from Azmio. They have not responded for long. They're still quiet. And this is one of the leaders who stood firm. And of course, as you heard from what he was presenting over there, he said that out of 50 million Kenyans, he stood firm so that he can present that letter to William Ruto, who is the president-elect. And of course, when he was giving the letter, you see the kind of security that was there. Kenyans, that was during the bombers of Kenya, was following some of the conversation during the bombers of Kenya. We saw what happened during the bombers of Kenya. A lot of leaders got armed, and of course, the Cherera 4 rejected the elections. But after, even though they rejected the elections, Chebukati stood firm, and he went there and announced the president as the winner, despite a lot of Kenyans not agreeing with the elections. That was in 2022, Wafula Chebukati, when he was giving those news. Buru, karibu kama uko tayari, kabla tufuke kwa President William Ruto akiongea huko Kilifi. Karibu sana pia Wasam, na kuona pale kwa comment section.
Yes, Kimanzi, how are you?
Niko chonjo sana, niko fiti.
Yeah, yangu kwanza is to pass my condolences to the family of Wafula Chebukati. It is indeed unfortunate that he left us, but that is the way for all of us. I myself feel grieved because we have scarcity of such principled men in today's society. But we have to accept that death is part of the human beings. Having said that, there has been a lot of explanations, especially on the social media, as to the reason why he had to die. As usual, Kenyans, we are very dramatic. There are those who are attributing the death of Wafula Chebukati to his announcement of the presidential winner in 2022, which is very unfortunate. What I want people to know that it is part of human beings to die. Nobody, including all the politicians that you see, that do not die. So when your time comes, you have to go. And therefore, there is no good explanation that anybody or any theory that anybody may try to create that can fit the reason why the IEBC chair had to die. So that was his time. His time came. and he left. Our time will come and we'll have to go. So those people who are saying it is because he leaked the elections against the former prime minister is unfortunate. He just did his job. Remember, he was not only presiding the presidential position, he presided all other positions, governors, senators, even those who have been criticizing him were also presided by him. So let us just know there is time for everything. There is time to be born, and also there is time to die. So those people who are celebrating the death of Wafula Chebukati, I'll tell you that is not the way to go, because death happens to all of us. But whether you celebrate or not, there is no way you are hurting him, because when you die, you are gone. You don't care what happens again on earth. You are gone and gone forever. Those sentiments that are put down there on the social media, they only affect the family of the deceased, which is unfortunate. Therefore, I'm requesting my fellow Kenyans to be a little bit sensitive to what we write on our social media, because this man had a family. This man had a wife, had children, had relatives. Therefore, the things you write will not affect him. He will not even know that you wrote them. But somebody who has a bond with him, somebody who loved him, you read your comment and you feel hurt, which is unfortunate. Therefore, let us just be sensitive. We wish that one day we'll meet with him because we have hope in resurrection. I also hope that we as a country will keep the standard that he put on the integrity of Electoral Commission. This is a man who I can say he was very principled and very, very honest, because he was being pressurized by the entire government to announce the former prime minister as the winner. But he refused, and he said the one who won is the one that I am going to announce as the winner. As much as right now I'm not supporting the governance or the style of governance of William Ruto, I can say without fear of contradiction that I am convinced beyond reasonable doubt that William Ruto won against the former prime minister. And that's why Wafula Chebukati, against all the pressurization he was getting from the government, he stood firm. We have very few people who can stand like him. He had a chance of receiving billions. If people say that Wafula Chebukati was bribed, I don't know whether William Ruto had more money than the government itself. So therefore, I am requesting those who take over from Wafula Chebukati to be men of integrity, because they already have somebody they can use as an example of being principled and being honest. And that is the only way we can build a civilized society. Thank you, Mr. Boni, for the opportunity. That's how I feel, and that's what I think.
Yes, we had a clip of Wafula Chebukati when he was giving the letter to the president. I don't think whether you listened to it. Maybe I play it for you, because we are still following up on his death.
Good evening. We have walked the journey of ensuring that Kenyans get a free, fair, and credible election. It's not been an easy journey. Right now, 2 of my commissioners and the CEO are injured. And they, of course, they are being treated. We have staff who have been profiled. There's a staff returning officer in Bakassi West who disappeared while on duty. We have staff who have been arbitrarily arrested for no reasons. We don't know where they are. Some from this National Tallying Center. But we have a constitutional duty to perform. And that's why I stand before you today, despite intimidation, harassment, I took an oath of office to serve this country. And I've done my duty in accordance with the Constitution and the laws of the land. And I feel proud that I've been given this opportunity to serve Kenyans. This, of course, will be my last election to preside over. And for those who will come, we have prepared for you what the Constitution envisaged from us, an independent electoral commission. So I just want to thank the staff of IEBC, the soldiers who braved insults, harassment, and delivered right from the constituencies to the counties and up to the National Tallying Center. I want to thank stakeholders, state and non-state stakeholders who have worked with us on this journey, and more particularly the members of the diplomatic community and the religious leaders who have been keeping vigil at this center for the last 3 days. They have been here throughout, 24 hours a day. So Kenyans came out and voted on the 9th of August, and these are the results of what the will of the Kenyan people reflects. These results are in the public portal. The same results which I'm reading here are the ones in the public portal. So there were 4 presidential candidates. These are the aggregated results. Odinga Raila, total valid votes, 6,942,930. And this represents 48.85% of the votes garnered, and he achieved a number of counties the candidate attained with at least 25% of the total valid votes cast is 34 counties. Ruto William Samoei, number of valid votes, 7 million. Thank you. 7,176,141. This represents 50.49%. And he achieved the minimum number of 39 counties at 25%. Waihika David Maure, number of valid votes in figures 31,987. That represents 0.23%. Number of counties with a minimum of 25%, 0. Wachakoya George Luchiri, 61,969. Those are valid votes. Percentage of votes cast 0.44%, and number of counties with a minimum of 25% attained 0. So, in accordance with the law, the Constitution and the law, I, Wafula Chebukati, Chairperson of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, hereby declares that Ruto William Samoei of ID number 6847208 has been duly elected as the President of the Republic of Kenya under the provisions of Article 138 of the Constitution in the presidential election held on 9th of day of August 2022. And I'll proceed to sign the certificate. I invite the President-elect to come forward and receive his certificate.
Habari njema kwa Wakenya wote, tume huru ya uchaguzi na mipaka isiyoegemea upande wowote inayodumisha.
Yes, Buru, you seen what happened over there, and you can see the kind of proceedings that happened when he started reading the names, and also until we got the winner. The clapping that was there, of course, after what happened in the Bomas of Kenya, a lot of Kenyans, of course, you see there was a lot of chaos in the Bomas. You saw the kind of issues that were raised. Even you remember Senator Ledama Olekina, what he did over there. Still Kenyans remember. What do you have to say about Chebukati in terms of leadership? Who was how can you describe Chebukati? Of course, that is in terms of leadership qualities.
Chebukati, I would describe. Yes, I would describe him as a man of integrity, a principled man who loved his job and who was focused. In the last general election, he conducted himself with a high level of professionalism. And I can tell you for sure that if it was Raila Odinga who had won, Chebukati would have done the same, just as he did to William Ruto, because his work primarily was just to tally the votes that were brought to him. And remember, this was not something that was being done by one individual. It was done by so many people with observers. in a full glare of cameras. So that's why I say Chebukati finished his job, and he did his job perfectly. And I wish we can get another man like that. I'm even hoping that we can give Maraga that position. Right now, we are seeing a lot of plans that are undergoing so that the government may try to do things, because when I see the things that are happening, it tells me a lot that the government has realized it would be very hard for them to win in 2027 unless they try other means like manipulation. That is why they are trying even to remove into office the entire Supreme Court judges body, all the 7 judges of the Supreme Court. I was reading an article and I was seeing that they are trying to kick them out. What is the reason behind that? What is the government not telling Kenyans? Why are they doing that? The reason they're doing that is because they want to put in place in the judiciary people who can be manipulated, people in case the case will be taken into the Supreme Court, people who can rule on their favor, which is very unfortunate. But I want to say this, that it is the high time that we as a country, we start conducting ourselves with integrity. Let us put our nation first than anything else. No individual is so special. All of us should be equal, and anybody should be free to become whatever they aspire to become, so long as they put effort and they follow the law and they win, basing on the procedures. They should not be struggling to rise into positions. Today, when I look at what is happening in our country, some individuals feel like they are more important than the nation, or they are more important than others, that we regard them so highly that we even think of creating positions specifically for them. We change constitution to suit certain people, which should not happen. A constitution is a document that is supposed to govern a country for decades and for generations to come. The Constitution of America has been there for many, many years. You don't hear them talking of trying to change the Constitution because it is not favoring a certain person, because it is not favoring a section of the nation. But what happens with us? If I lose the election this time, I'll make sure that we try to change the Constitution so that I can get a position in government. That shows how far we are from true democracy, how far we are from maturing politically. So we cannot keep on distorting and manipulating the Constitution to suit specific individuals that we feel they are very important to the nation. This is a nation of over 50 million people. The Constitution does not belong to William Ruto. The Constitution does not belong to the political class. The Constitution is a government, is a governing document for the country. Therefore, this aspect of we are going to change the Constitution to create a position for Raila Odinga because he has lost in AU, it just shows a level of political immaturity, because that document is not there for William Ruto or Raila Odinga or Kalonzo Musyoka or Gachagua or any other politician. It is a government, it's a governing document for the country, which should not be altered to suit individuals. So therefore, I just want to tell Kenyans that we have scarcity of men and women of integrity, principled men who put the nation forward, who put the nation first than themselves. And I wish one day we will get such kind of leaders, because these people spend a lot of money in order to favor themselves, in order to sustain power. And it's unfortunate. And I want to say this without, and I have no problem with any politician, that it's unfortunate that when I read from politicians that we spent billions of money trying to bribe presidents in order to get the AU position. And I had somebody say that we spent 13 billion, of which the government has not come out to say how much we spent. And I saw some people trying to defend and saying it was campaign. The AU position does not require you to spend money to get it. The presidents are supposed to carry themselves with utmost integrity. They are not supposed even to receive bribe. You saw even the delegation, so many people going there to cheer, or I don't know what they were going to do because they were not voting. I have no problem whatsoever. But we are a country with a lot of dramas, very dramatic. If you are not going to vote, you are not an agent. You are not even supposed to be there. What are you going to do? Whereas Kenyans have given you duties. They have voted for you as a member of parliament, as a senator, as a governor. Did you see the Djibouti guy? He just went there with his wife, and that's all. What is so different with us? What's wrong with us? When I see these things, I ask myself, what is wrong with Kenya? Right now, the way we are behaving, Bonnie, you might think that in the next 2 weeks, we are having a general election, because everybody is campaigning. That is not how it's supposed to be. There should be time for us to work. There should be time for us to campaign. This is the time for the government to implement the manifesto that they had before they acquired the government. But right now, those that are in government are campaigning. Those that are outside the government are campaigning. And that's how we end up wasting a lot of time and achieving very little, because we don't spend our time well in Kenya.
Sante sana, sante sana, sante sana, sante sana. Buru, are you through?
Yes. I had to cut short because I have talked a lot, and my friends have come here so that we can have an engagement.
Yes, yeah, I can see my good friend Jeremiah. Jeremiah, ukiona tu nimeingia lazima nikuwekee link pale kwa WhatsApp. Karibu sana. We as a country, we are mourning the death of very own Wafula Chebukati, who was the chairman of the IEBC. That is the former chairman. He died at the age of 63 years old. We are getting a lot of ideas and also a lot of responses from Kenyans over there in the social media. A lot of leaders today, they send their heartfelt condolences to the Wafula Chebukati's family. Still, we have not received it from the Hazimio. Maybe you can weigh on Wafula Chebukati's death, and do you think that this death affect our country in one way or the other, or things will just run smoothly? What is your take about Wafula Chebukati? Of course, his career and he being one of the leaders who led that very sensitive docket in the country, that is the IEBC. Very sensitive, of course. Since then, we have not gotten anyone to lead there.
Asante Bon. Mburu na Alex, habari zenu wapendwa? Good to see you
Tuko salama,
guys.
tuko chonjore.
Poa sana.
Nimekaribia even though late,
Sana,
I was
Jeremiah.
working late. Ndio nimemaliza tu my last conference call. Ndio nikaona wacha nijumuike nanyi tusikie Kenya inaelekea wapi. Najua Kenya is ours and Kenya is our business. So it's good to get into platforms and forums where you can share ideas and kosana with people like Mburu, then make up bila yeye kujua mlikosana. So I've just heard something that Azimio hasn't said anything. Our party leader, the Right Honorable former Prime Minister, Engineer Dr. Raila Amolo Odinga, as our party leader, once he speaks, we all speak. He sent his condolences personally to a Kenyan, to a father, to a husband, to a friend, to an individual who served Kenya when he was called upon. Whatever role he played in the last elections or even before, that will leave to the higher powers to judge him. But when our party leader says he has sent his condolences to a person, sisi wote ametuma rambirambi zetu on our behalf, and we are okay with leaving it at that. I don't think that there is much impact in Kenya following the demise of one Chebukati. And I said it today in other forums, and I said it probably even before Chebukati, that the worst career, the most thankless job in Kenya is being a chair of the Electoral Commission, whether it's IEC, whether it's IEBC, whether it's whatever you call it. And I said it also today that it is one of the surest ways to fast track your trip to the grave. If you really want to go to your grave in 3-4 years averagely, fight for and get the position of the chairman of Kenya's Electoral Commission. And I stand by that because of the evidence that we have of what happens to individuals that hold that position, especially when they oversee a contested electoral process, one that is marred with very, very many glaring irregularities, a result of which is condemned globally and nationally, a result of which all Kenyans remain crying and lamenting because of the result that he presides over. So I don't read much into it. Where he has gone, we are all headed there. It's just that our appointments are at different times, but we have that appointment, it's coming. Whether it's facilitation of his appointment is man-made, I can't speculate. Whether his demise is natural because that was his appointment, I cannot speculate. But may he rest in peace. May his family have privacy to mourn and heal post his demise. As much as people might not have loved him because of what he did when he was called upon to chair the electoral body, when somebody dies, that is neither here nor there. So we only wish his family condolences and wish his departed soul eternal peace. That's all I can say.
Sante sana. Thank you so much, Jeremiah, for those kind submission. Alex, Alex, are you there? Yes. That was Jeremiah when he was giving his responses to Wafula Chebukati. Because Azimio, yes, Buru, you have something to add on what Jeremiah said?
No, Bonnie, I'm fine. I'm fine with what he said. Maybe we can go to another topic. May the soul of Wafula Chebukati rest in peace. That is what I can say in that topic.
Yes. So we have seen a lot of things happening all over. And there is one of the leaders who the other day said that the Kenya Kwanza government is led by incompetent leaders who doesn't know what they're doing, leaders who are still there just pushing and spending the money for the Kenyans. Yet the response from one of the own Oscar Sudi said that the government is going to work, and as the constitution says, Kenya Kwanza was given that mandate to serve the people of Kenya. So we're having this debate. This was a statement made by Edwin Sifuna when he was in one of the televisions in Kenya. Now, before we move, I want us to listen to this clip here that was said by Oscar Sudi, who is one of the close members to the William Samoei.
Sifuna, you are saying that William Ruto is hanging out with standard 2 dropouts. Let me ask you a question. Our fathers, are they university? Are they graduates? Number 2, can you compare me with you, Sifuna? You know, my IQ and your IQ, it is not even a quarter. So, look for somebody you can compare yourself with, or you can compare William Ruto with, but not me. I'm in another class. Not because I'm bragging, but you can ask my history. You don't have even a quarter of my knowledge. So don't be stupid. Don't talk like a kid. Oh, you know, every day you've been you insult this one, you rubbish that the other one. Oh, you know, so let me. Can you go and ask people or ask your friends if and I ask them to tell you the truth. They will tell you the truth that you are nothing. And you don't reason like even a standard 4, from 4 dropout, leave alone standard 2. Because, my friend, it is not about school, it's about skills. It's not about PAD. It's about calculation. So long as you can speak, you can think, you can see, you can smell, I don't think you have both of those things. You're just a coward, a stupid man.
Yes, that was Oscar Sudi. Jeremiah, you saw that statement from Sifuna when he was acting contrarily after one of the members, Alando, said that after what Ruto supported the former prime minister, he was trying to defend that Baba will not even support Ruto in 2027. Now that was Oscar Sudi. You heard what he said?
I was trying to say before you play this video that to create context, because this video was a response or a reply to something else. To create context, you should have played Sifuna's clip first, then play Sudi's clip next. But that be as it may, we all know Sudi is I don't want to say semi-illiterate, but we know that Sudi is not so good or so coherent in the Queen's language. Whether that's a confirmation of his illiteracy or literacy thereof, I don't know. But even in that statement, if you are somebody who is linguistically averse, you will know that is not coherent, in the sense that some of the things he say, the way his diction and context are not portraying someone who has gone through some formal education or training, specifically in the Queen's language. I'm not speaking about anything else. I'm just speaking to his comprehension of English. Yeah. Now, with that said, he's right in some ways that sometimes it's not about the education, it's not about the PhDs, but it's about the skills. And I agree with him to that extent. But one thing I couldn't help but ask myself every time he was saying IQ, I was wishing that I was there. I would ask him, what does IQ mean? Nisikie kama anajua IQ inamaanisha nini. But that's my own personal bias. Sifuna made a statement and was just trying to drive home a point that show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. And was basing that on the fact that Ruto has really rubbished Kenyans in many ways. The other time, when people were bringing up the Adani issue, he said, wengine wenu mnaongea na hata mjawai enda airport, mjawai panda airport in ndege. You see, that is belittling the people that voted you into the office that you're holding. Then now he says something about have a PhD. Yeah, that you people who are complaining about these things, hamjasoma, mimi nimesoma mpaka niko na PhD. Yeah, and that's what brought up the idea, the type of response we saw from Sifuna. And Sifuna was just trying to say that if you are really a PhD holder, what business do you have hanging out with the people that are not in your caliber academically? But then also, I can tell you guys a story. It might be speculation, but I think there is 90% truth in this story. You see, Ruto undergrad mzuri tu, alienda UN akasoma vizuri, but then somewhere along the way came this very smart, tiny Jaluo boy called Raymond. Okay, and to create context to that, Raymond and I went to the same high school in Beta High School. He was 2 classes behind me. I finished Form 4 in 94 and he finished in 97. When he came into Form 1, I was in Form 3. So I saw him. He was a tiny boy like this, and he's still small in stature. So the story that I'm saying is that when after Ruto finished his undergrad, and then after sometimes got into parliament, he retained what's his name, Raymond. Raymond found him in campus, was I think a class or 2 behind him or something like that, or maybe more, I don't know. But somewhere along the way they met in campus. Then he took all his classes through Raymond. Yeah, so Raymond would go to class and attend class for himself and attend class for Ruto, up to and including the PhD. Yeah, and that is where they became friends, and he actually did everything for Ruto and up to the thesis and the dissertations and everything for Ruto's PhD. So in that context, if somebody sort of doubts his credibility with the PhD because of the friends he has around him, there is some truth to it. And it's some of those things that people don't know. So Sifuna was speaking because I know Sifuna knows that. He knows what I've just mentioned. I know Sifuna knows that. So that is the context of what Sifuna was trying to say. But after it's all said and done, it's not about PhDs. It's not about academic qualifications. Leadership is a totally different ball game. And of course, like I'm saying, being fluent in English is not a measure of wisdom, but it's an indication of exposure into spheres where English is actually something that makes you succeed or fail, and that sphere is really just school. To be honest, that is as simple as that. So if you are not very good in English, it really just shows that you haven't really attended school that well. But I agree, it's not the measure of leadership, it's not a measure of wisdom, because we've had very good leaders who really never went to school that much. Tom Mboya, for that matter, only had a diploma, some college diploma. That's all. That's his highest academic level. Moi, our political professor, didn't go to school that much. But those are what we are seeing now between Sifuna and Sudi are our domestic political dancing chairs, and we just have to watch them and see. But it has no content really when it comes to leadership. But those are our dancing chairs in our political spheres, and that's okay. It's allowed. Because sorry Mburu, before you come in, I know you are going to say something. On that context, there is something that happened this week Koimburi. Yeah. Koimburi, I was actually even forced to even do some research on him yesterday when I was in the office. I took about an hour to just try and study and see who he is. Koimburi, I was really shocked that this guy, when I hear that Bon unataka kutolewa kwa kiti because you forged an undergraduate diploma or some sort of higher education qualifications, I would say, yeah, that's normal, people do that. But do you realize that this guy Koimburi, actually, he was in the litany of accusations, was actually, he forged even KCPE, he forged KCSE, he forged undergrad and all these others. So this guy never even did standard 8, right? Then as I was looking into his things after I saw what he did, that he tried to run off when the judgment was being passed against him in Kiambu, and he takes off. His analytical skills were wanting. If you are going to sentence me for some reason, but I know I can pay bail, why would I want to run? Then I become a fugitive. So I just sit there, unanishika nalipa bail na natoka. His analytical skills at that time really came out showing. Then when I researched him, nikapata huyu jamaa, and I dare anyone else to go and do that research. Huyu jamaa hakuna hata clip yake moja ya video ameongea Kizungu. He only speaks in Swahili. So I'm even wondering, does he even know English at all? I wonder. But I'm just trying to sort of relate the things. Siati Kizungu is a big deal, but when you have a leader who potentially hakufanya standard 8, this guy is among the accusations aliakuziwa, aliforge certificate ya KCPE na akaforge KCSE. Inamaanisha hata standard 8 hakufanya huyu jamaa. But those are our leaders. I rest my case.
Wonderful, Jeremiah. Buru, uwanja ni wako. Wasikia vile Jeremiah anasema. Uko mute bwana.
Sorry, I was saying Jeremiah has a point that education is paramount in the society, and therefore we cannot say that it's not very important. It is important. And also I agree with Osam. Education is not measure of wisdom, or it doesn't really show how clever someone is. Sudi is a very smart guy, but he would have been better if he went through formal education. And this is the advice I can give to Sudi, that you don't remain where you started. You still have a room to improve yourself. All what he's supposed to do is to know that I, Sudi, I am very smart. Mimi ni mkarabati. Mungu amenipatia akili nyingi, but I have a weakness. And that weakness is that I haven't gone through formal education. Sudi can become anything because, one, he is embraced by his electorate because he works very well for them. And therefore, he can become a great person. So what he's supposed to do is to think on how he can improve himself academically. What education does, it broadens your mind. It changes the way you perceive things. Your perception changes. It helps you to see things in the right perspective. And therefore, education is very important. It helps you also on how to relate with other people. And I can also say that it is okay for William Ruto. I want to disagree and agree with Sifuna. I also want to say it's okay for William Ruto to hang out with these people like Sudi and Farouk, because it doesn't mean that if someone is not educated like you put them aside, you don't interact with them, you don't relate with them. As a way of showing humility and humbleness, you interact with all people. However, you also put limit to what extent do you relate with those people, and also weigh the kind of advices you get from all people. Because sometimes, if for instance, Sudi, if he is the only advisor who the president listens to, he's likely to give a wrong advice. People like Farouk. So what the president is supposed to do, it is okay to interact with these people, but he should know to what extent should he take what they are advising him to do. You had Sudi the other day, he said that if he was in the docket of the internal secretary, the internal minister, let me just put it, internal minister, he was going to crush everybody who is trying to criticize the government or the social media. It is because that is how he is seeing things. He has a short way of perceiving things. And therefore, the president, if he follows such advices, he is likely to make so many mistakes. And I also want to say it's unfortunate how our leaders address each other, that you point the weaknesses of the other person as if you are enemies, whereas we know these are not enemies. So hiyo mchongoano yenye huwa wanachongoana in public also doesn't show any kind of maturity. It is okay for Sifuna to be more educated than Sudi, but he should know maybe there were reasons why Sudi did not get the same or equal chance with him to get education. Maybe Sifuna is from a good background, unlike Sudi, you know. So sometimes we need to be sensitive when we are talking about other people. Maybe there was no school fees to educate Sudi. And maybe if we went through the academic process, would be a better person than Sifuna. So I just wanted to say, I don't like how our leaders talk in public. They don't weigh what they tell each other, and they think it's okay to do that. I don't see that as a good thing. Bonnie, that is all what I can say about the exchanges between Sudi and Sifuna. And also, I would like to congratulate Sudi, because for the first time he was forced by Sifuna to speak good English. It might not be so coherent, but for the first time he has tried. At least we could understand what he was saying. And that is the purpose of any language. And Bonnie, I also want to say that speaking English doesn't show that you went to school. If you go to China, they study in school using Chinese. You go to France, they use French. So the language doesn't matter, but the truth remains that it is good to go through academic process. Right now, Sud has money. He can hire maybe a teacher to take him through some of these basic things, so that when he comes to public, he can appear as someone who is well versed with what he is saying. Because I know because of the limitation he is having, sometimes he has points, but he cannot bring them out. He has been so quiet in parliament, but we need that brain of Sudi in parliament. The only way to do that is for him to upgrade, get an English teacher, take him through the basic, and then Sudi will be one of the best contributors in parliament. Those are some of the limitations. The other thing is good that he spoke English for the first time. Somebody, I saw a joke. that Sudi has been taken to ICU. And the reason being, it was because of the attempt to answer Sifuna in English. So, that is it. It is a good thing that he tried. We understood him. Let him keep practicing. Hire an English teacher. Take him through that. But also Sudi speaks very good Swahili. He should not be intimidated. He should be using that Swahili in parliament. And that is how you perfect yourself. But if you keep on hiding and being afraid of what you know, you are not helping yourself and you are not helping the country. So the way he works in his constituency, we want also him to work in the same way in parliament. Actually, he was cited as one of the most quiet people in parliament. He has never spoken. So he should start. He should start.
You said never.
So anyway,
He has never.
He has never spoken in parliament, or he has never contributed in the debates in parliament. It shows how much afraid he is because of the limitation he might be having.
Yes. That is 2027 political saga that is happening in the country. But we wish that the country will just calm down as we approach 2027. And also we can get a leader who is going to transform the country, because we are having a lot of issues that are being raised. In the comment section, I can see we have a lot of comments there from Hawasam saying that why don't we see inventions through our graduates here in Kenya? In foreign countries, we see very successful individuals who do not have any higher education. Jeremiah, that is a question. Jeremiah, education is an high opener, but we have so many college engineers who cannot build a road or a bridge in Kenya. We have foreigners. Of course, exam cheating, has been there. We are having doctors who are still poisoning patients in the hospitals because of the education has been questioned for long. My brother, but Sudi is very successful. Of course, we know that Sudi is very successful. Of course, today we saw the president when he was addressing during the funeral of the Senate, Speaker of the Senate, that is Amason Kingi, and this is what the president had to say. But he said that in 2027 atapanga watu vizuri. Saa hii ni wakati wa kuendelea na kujenga nchi.
Lifi ambazo ziliachwa nyuma kwa mambo ya kuunganisha stima, sasa watapata stima kama kaunti zile zingine zote. Na ndio sababu hiyo kaunti hii ya Kilifi mtapata shilingi bilioni 2 kwa ajili ya kusukuma mambo ya kuunganisha stima, na tunataka kuunganisha stima watu 21,000 wengine wapya katika huduma ya stima. Na tutafanya kazi na wabunge wenu, tukubaliane sehemu gani, wapi, kijiji gani, mahali gani hakuna stima. Na mbali na kazi hiyo, kwa sababu hapa mama mmoja amesema tunahitaji viwanda, lakini bado stima hapa iko chini kwa sababu haina transmission line ya kutosha. Umeme mara inapotea, mara haiko, mara iko na matatizo. Sababu hiyo last year nilikuja nikasema tujenge transmission line kutoka Rabai kuja Bomani mpaka Kilifi. That was phase 1. Na itakamilika by June this year. Pia tumeunganisha transmission line nyingine ya kuleta umeme kutoka Kilifi kuja Weru mpaka Malindi. Hapo tunatumia karibu shilingi bilioni 9 kuunganisha hiyo stima, so that we can have reliable power and we can power the industries that currently are present and those that we are looking for into the future. Nitarudi hapa kwa mapenzi ya Mungu in the next by June, July, kwa sababu Kenya Power na REDEC wanakamilisha hizo transmission lines so that we can have reliable power in Kilifi County. Kwa hivyo tutashirikiana pamoja na nyinyi, na mimi nataka niwaulize viongozi wote, saa hizi ni kushughulika na vile ya kupanga mambo ya maendeleo ya wananchi. Kuna siku itakuja ya kuomba kura. Election is a one-day event. Development is an every-day assignment. Na ndio tunataka tushirikiane tukiwa hivyo. So mimi nawauliza, mbali na hiyo kazi ambayo nimesema, mumeniuliza pia mambo ya barabara. Ni kweli ile barabara ya kutoka Mariakani tukafikisha Bamba, mkatuuliza itoke Bamba ikuje Garsen, ikuje sio Garsen but ikuje Ganze na iteremke mpaka Kilifi. So nakubaliana na mbunge Tungule, mbunge wetu wa pale Ganze, ya kwamba hiyo barabara inahitaji kukamilika, and I want to commit that we are working on the resources to make sure that that road is done, kwa sababu ni barabara ya muhimu sana. Mbunge huyu Tungule sijui anasema barabara hiyo imekwama mahali fulani, lakini
neti lazima uwe na bibi watatu. Asante. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Rais pamoja na viongozi wote wa kitaifa ambao wamefika hapa. Mimi naitwa Edwin Sifuna, katibu mkuu wa chama cha ODM, seneta wa kaunti ya Nairobi na naibu kiranja wa walio wachache ndani ya bunge la Senate. Nimefika hapa kumpa pole Mheshimiwa wangu, spika wangu wa Senate. Mheshimiwa Spika Kingi, wewe umetuongoza vyema katika jumba letu la Senate. Unajua kwamba wakati mwingine mambo huwa yakichemuka pale Senate, lakini umetuongoza vizuri kama kinara wetu pale kwenye Senate. Nataka nichukue fursa hii kwa niaba yangu mwenyewe, kwa niaba ya makao makuu ya chama cha ODM, kwa niaba ya kinara yangu Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga, niseme poleni sana kwa kumpoteza baba, na watu wa Magarini, asanteni sana kwa kuwa wenye subra. Wakati ambapo kipenga kitapigwa, kila mtoto atarudi kucheza kwenye mlango wao. Asanteni sana, Mungu awabariki.
Asante sana Your Excellency, my brother Kingi.
Buru, Sifuna anamaanishaje akisema kipenga kipigwa kila mtu atarudi kwake?
Ngoja, wewe unapenda Sifuna sana na Sudi.
I like the way, personally, I like the way Sifuna is always vocal. That guy is always vocal and he doesn't fear anything. You know, communication is very key.
Kwanza turudi nyuma kidogo kwa sababu umeweka clips bili, moja ilikuwa ya president, halafu tutaongelea kuhusu Sifuna. Boni nimekuwa nikiangalia what we call the facial expression of the president. Those who have done psychology will tell you there are things we call the non-verbal cues. That you can be in a position to look at Bonnie on the face and know whether Bonnie is okay or if he is not okay. When I have been looking at the facial expression of the president, and I also compare with his public appearances on the past, and I can tell you, our president that doesn't look like he's enjoying leadership right now. He doesn't look happy. It's like he is bitter. We know our president as someone who makes a lot of jokes, as a humorous man, but nowadays he is not even making jokes. I think the Gen Zs on the social media are doing very great harm to the president. They have even made him change how he interacts with the people. Our president has become very serious. And these are some of the things that happened with the former President Moi. People say history goes that Moi was the best president. He was a happy man with a very good heart. But when people attempted to overthrow his government, he changed and became the most dangerous president in Africa, if not in the world. So I can tell that our President William Ruto is changing gradually, based on how the people are dealing with him squarely on the social media, and he feels that his position as the president is threatened. That is just the interpretation of the non-verbal cues. He no longer makes jokes in public, so he is changing. And also, I also want to say that I always feel disgusted because our president doesn't learn what Kenyans don't want. Right now, we don't want promises. I have heard him say that he's going to connect around 20,000 houses with electricity. Those are promises. After people have lost trust with you, Mr. President, what you are supposed to do is to change, to make an about turn and change the way of doing things. Instead of promises, go connect those houses. Then you tell the people, we have already connected 20,000 houses with electricity. People will start now to trust you. But anytime I hear President saying, we are going to do this, we are going to do that, I know most Kenyans don't want to hear that. So I wish he can hear me and change his style of convincing people, or even of campaigning. Right now, he's the president. Before, he was not the president. He could make promises. Right now, we want to see the implementations of the things he said that he would do. We want to see action, not those promises. And that is why he is becoming bitter, that Kenyans are making jokes with the promises he is making. He should just know we don't want to hear promises. You know, we want to see actions. We want to hear he has done ABCD. It is funny, I have been in America for a long time. And for those years I have been in America, I can tell you, I have never seen blackout. Stima imepotea. It doesn't happen. So we should not normalize some of these things. These are, I mean, we can use billions in campaigns, but we cannot use those billions to fix what is wrong in our country. Yani mambo ingine tunachukua kama ni mchezo. Mambo sijui stima, kwingine hakuna stima. I mean, as a president, wakati anatembea Kenya, anaona vyenye kwingine kunakaa, anastahili kuhisi uchungu na amaanishe business. Na aseme, I will not leave this country the way I found it. So nikiona wakiongea, wanaongea tu ni kama mambo ya kawaida. Stima kupotea Amerika ni jambo kubwa sana. Huwa mpaka mnatangaziwa, labda kumekuwa na dhoruba, miti imeanguka, mnaambiwa itakuwa fixed by this time utakuwa na power, na even inakuwa ni kitu kubwa sana mpaka on the media, na mnatumia mpaka messages. Ni lazima kuwe na sababu kubwa sana. So some of these things, yeye ndiye kiongozi wetu, anastahili audhike na amaanishe kazi. And when he will do that, I can tell you, he will be able to convince Kenyans. This is not the time of making those promises. There is something very important also he has said, that this is the time for development. He has the mandate of Kenyans for development. But the most unfortunate thing, anasema ya kwamba this is no time for campaign. Wakati wa campaign utafika. Lakini kesho atasahau, utamuona juu ya gari. Campaign. Boni, in developed countries, you will never see a president trying to campaign. They work, they implement policies, alafu watu wanaona kazi, wana decide if they're going to vote for them or not. I mean, they only campaign wakati wa campaign, wakiambia watu tumefanya hii na hii na hii na hii, highlighting projects that they have done. But huku wale wako kwa serikali huwa wanashidana na wenye wako nje kwa serikali, ni nani mwenye anaongea sana, ni nani mwenye ametembea mahali kwingi sana, and we end up wasting a lot of time. So I wish the president can remain focused, do development, mpaka wenye wanamdoubt waseme ya kwamba tumeona kazi ya rais wetu and we are going to support him. And I know he is capable. If William Ruto can mean business, aweke mchezo kado, I know he can leave this place, this country in a better place. Na acha hata kufikiria mambo ya 2027. Kwanza afikirie hii miaka iko hapa, ni nini nitafanya ili nikitoka niache legacy. Kama ni hiyo barabara amesema ya Garissa, wacha tuone imejengwa. Lakini pia kwa sababu kwa hiyo mkutano leo tena alisema mambo ya vetting ya IDs katika zile sehemu za mipakani. I want to believe that he knows what he is doing. But we cannot stop protecting our country against harm, against criminals, against terrorism. Wale wenye walisema katika zile sehemu kuwe na vetting, they had a reason. Unakumbuka wakati terrorism ilikuwa nyingi sana Kenya, tulikuwa tunalipuliwa huku na mabomu na kushutiwa, ilibidi watu wapelekwe, mpaka watu wanachotwa kutoka Isli, wanaletwa Kasarani, wakijaribu kudistinguish who is a Kenyan and who is not. Na sasa kukawekwa mikakati kule mipakani, ati lazima wale watu wako huku wakuwe na kuangaliwa vizuri sana, tusije tukaigiza criminals na tuwapatie stakabadhi.
Poleni gentlemen, I had a client call and I had to attend to it. Pole. But nilikuwa nataka kusikia answer yako sana Mburu. Nimenipita na nasikia uchungu. But I really wanted to hear you. But anyway, tuendelee.
Yeah, it's okay. So, nilikuwa nasema hiyo vetting boni inastahili president afikirie sana. Asifikirie tu mambo ya nitapigiwa kura na kina nani. Afikirie hata wakati hata kuwa rais wa Kenya, ataacha Kenya ikiwa hali gani. Maana ni heri kukue, kwa sababu ile vetting hakuna mahali kunasemekana kama mtu ni Mkenya asipatiwe stakabadhi, asipatiwe kitambulisho. Ni kukuwa na mikakati ya tunataka kujua wewe umetoka wapi, familia yenu ni gani, kabla sasa tukupatie hii kitambulisho ya Kenya. Na sio eti ni discrimination. It's just a process that has been put there to ensure that we don't end up giving foreigners our documents wakuja kutudhuru. So sahi president anaangalia tu nipatie watu wote vitambulisho wanichague 2027, ama nifurahisha watu wa hiyo eneo, lakini anaweza igiza nchi kwa shida kubwa sana. Venye anastahili kufanya ni kuhakikisha ya kwamba corruption, maana what has happened in Kenya, corruption has been systemized. It's already in the system. Everything is an avenue of people getting money that they are not supposed to get. Bribery everywhere. So what the president is supposed to do ni kuhakikisha ya kwamba wame review the vetting process to ensure it is fair and to ensure that those who are supposed to issue IDs, they don't take advantage of the vetting process to get money from the public or from the people who are trying to get from the genuine people who are trying to get IEBC, lakini asiseme maana anaweza ingiza Kenya katika shida kubwa sana.
Buru, yes. Jeremiah, karibu sana. Of course, Buru responded. Now you did not hear. Now we are having this discussion where the president, when he was in Kilifi, he said that it's high time we work, stop campaigning. When it comes to campaigning, it's just one day and he wins. Alisema hivyo leo akiwa katika mazishi ya seneta, ya speaker wa seneta wa Senate, speaker wa Senate ule ni Amason King. President alisema campaign ni siku moja peke yake, alafu sasa ana win.
So may I very quickly add on to what my colleagues have said, and more specifically to President William Ruto and his UDA party. We actually feel, as a leadership from especially Mount Kenya region, and generally the people who support Rigathi Gachagua, it is very unfair that he wants to push every one of us, including those who support him, out of government. We have seen the way committees have been reconstituted in Parliament, and we actually feel that if indeed the problem was Rigathi Gachagua, why is he punishing a whole community? Why is he punishing a whole region? Case on point, every seat that belonged initially to Mount Kenya has been taken to other regions of the country. He has his own sycophants from Mount Kenya. Why would he not take them and give them the positions that have been vacated by those that he feels are not in support of his administration? We had the chairmanship of the Committee on Land, which was given to myself, Senator for Nyandarua. It has been given to now the Senator for Mombasa.
Yes. Those are the close friends. I've seen some of the heated debate in the social media whereby Senator Medu and also who is this? Senator Medu. There was a response from Senator Medu. I think Kaluma. Yes. That is very interesting conversation. The thread in the X platform is really entertaining.
That is one of those things I was saying, dancing chairs in our Kenyan politics. They are called dancing chairs.
Wanapigana wao kwa wenyewe. Kwa kweli wewe ukiangalia serikali ya Kenya Kwanza na generally viongozi wa Kenya wenye walichaguliwa pale mwaka wa 2022. Je, kuna viongozi ama ni watu tu walikuja kukula tu pesa na waende nyumbani? Kwa sababu mimi nikiingia Twitter huwa tu naingia kucheka. Mostly viongozi pale unaangalia tweet ya member of parliament, tweet ya senator, ya governor, hata unashangaa. And of course, the social media managers, they cannot just send any information without their consent.
See, the thing is, we don't have leaders in Kenya.
Correct.
We have people that won elections. Their motive for winning the election was never to serve. Their motive for winning the elections was never to change the country or make it better or make Bon's life better. Their motive was to go and make money. And that is the tragedy of our politics and the tragedy of our leadership situation. Until that changes, we are not going to have development and growth in Kenya, whether socially, whether economically, whether politically, in every sphere of life will not change until we change the motive for people going into elective positions. And remember, in the last conversation, Born, I said, if I got into the presidency, the first thing I will do is slash elected leaders' positions to damn near zero. Wakule sitting allowance, let it become almost voluntary so that you are getting benefits, not salary. Salary can be very, very minimal. Because just this week, I think on Wednesday, the conglomeration of all members of county assemblies in Kenya walikuwa KICC. Guess what happened? People ended up kuchapana mangumi because they cannot agree on certain things. And the most critical thing, the most contested issue was kuongezewa mshahara zao. At your hearing, a member of county assembly anasema ati what do you mean that we are being given 1.5 million car grant? What type of car can you buy with 1.5 million? And you're wondering now, sasa huyu, what is her motive or his motive for being in leadership? So until we have leaders who go in to serve people and make change, Kenya is not going to change. We will be stagnant forever. And I can assure you, Bon, the damage that has been done to our political fabric, our leadership fabric, fixing it is not going to be an easy thing. It's going to take a century at least for it to change. It is not something that will change very soon because the damage is so deep. And you know, like they say, kubomoa ni rahisi, kujenga ndio ngumu. So tumebomoa over the last 60 years or so. So damage that has been caused for 60 years, how long do you think it's going to take to fix it? Kama kujenga is harder than kubomoa. Probably triple that. You know, like they say, if in our personal lives, Born wewe leo, you make a financial misstep today, it will probably take you 3 years to recover. At a personal level, you make mistakes sahi at labda uende ulewe uvutwe job, usikuwe na mshahara for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. It will take you triple the duration it took you to build that, to fix it. So that means that if we use that same calculation, fixing Kenya's problems is at least 180 years, triple the duration that it has taken for us to cause the damage. And that's the reality. It is sad, but it's the reality.
Yes, that is the reality. That is the reality. It's sad we are having leaders who just went into those parliaments, members of county assemblies, governors, senators, just to enjoy the calm environment and also to eat money for the Kenyans. So we think that in 2027, we're looking forward to see if the Gen Z will make a change. if they are going to register. You know, they have been ignoring to register as voters. But now we want to see a change in 2027. The Gen Z, maybe they will vote for someone who will change constituencies, counties, wards, and a lot. So we are looking forward for that. Yes, of course, we have had almost 1 hour and 40 minutes here. We started with the discussion of Chebukati. Yes, Buru, you're back.
Yeah, you know, this is a country of so many problems. Yes, Bonnie. Is
Yes,
there anything you want me to say?
no, we are concluding. We are concluding, not unless you have something you want us to have a discussion.
Can you repeat what you said? I was reading this comment here.
Yes, we are saying that our country, we just have leaders who just went into the counties, members of county assemblies, governors, senators. They just there to just eat money and also make sure that they are just seen. But in terms of leadership skills, they have none. Generally, very few.
What I can say is that most of our leaders are just very selfish. They think of themselves more than the country, such that whenever they rise to power, they say into their heart, it is our time to eat. So even for them to enter into politics, they enter with the wrong motive. They are motivated by greed and selfishness. And that is where we go wrong. Those who rise to power or those who contest to become our leaders should be thinking more of the country than themselves. They should be always focused to develop the country. It's very unfortunate that even those who do development, they inflate the cost of those projects. You had the audit about the standard gauge railway. It was being said that we spent 3 times more than we were supposed to spend. That was during the Ruto government. So you can see, though we can see some of these highways, we have the standard gauge railways, it will take us many years before we can manage to repay the loans because they inflate the prices. We don't do things right. Some of the roads that I have seen being built in Kenya, they are substandard. I wish people witnessed the kind of the road that was built by Kibaki, this Thika superhighway, and the way it was built. You know, they used the iron bars. They first laid the iron bars before they can put other things. I mean, a very firm road that will take many years for generations to come. Some of the roads that have been built of late, they take few years. 8 years ago, we had this road from Thika all the way to Naivasha highway using the Kamae forest to Kamwangi, Gakoe, that road there. 8 years ago, it was like a carpet. It was tarmacked. But right now, there is nothing. It is destroyed. It has potholes all over. What does that tell you? That the people who were contracted to do that job, they did a shoddy job, substandard work. Does it mean that the government could not tell that the work that was done was not good? Maybe somebody who was actually monitoring the whole process of the tender or the whole project also was getting something. That is how we end up losing a lot of money. And sometimes we pretend like we are very busy working, whereas we are busy doing nothing. So if it is to build an infrastructure, we must make sure that we build for generations to come, not to be seen. That is being immoral. Unataka tu uone barabara, watu waone imewekwa rami ili wakuchague. Baada ya mvua kunyesha, hiyo barabara inaoshwa na maji because ya kutofanya kazi kwa sababu ya nchi, unafanya kazi kwa sababu yako uonekane. So those are some of the things that are very annoying in our country. Unakuta ya kwamba prices za vitu kama ni kwa county government, they are inflated, which is very unfair to the country. I don't want to continue talking more. Let me just read the comments here from, we have a comment from Awesome. And Awesome, thank you so much for keeping us busy and for watching and for being one of the most loyal follower of Africa 24. I want to read your comment here, which says, it's pathetic. Ghost workers, Cabernet Stadium allocated money every financial year, close to 13 years, and nothing to show. Cheboy himself pays himself 10 million every month for his grocery, and so on. Yeah, those are the kind of leaders we have. Remember, even this Mumia Sugar, we put billions in each and every government. Oh, we are reviving Mumia Sugar. Kibaki did it, Uhuru did it, now Ruto has done it. We lose a lot of money. Even our airport. I mean, our leaders are thieves and robbers, and they don't care about the country. Yesterday, I think the whole of this month I've been going to Nairobi so many times, and the city is dirty. Boni, tunaweza shindwa mambo yote, lakini hatuwezi weka mji wetu, capital city, ikiwa safi. Takataka, makaratasi, sijui siweji kwingine zime, I mean, it's horrible. It's horrible. We need some organization. We need some order. Hata tushindwe mambo hiyo ingine yote. Kufagia our capital city imetulemea. Ukienda kama usiku saa hii Boni, utasikia kumwaga machozi. Kwingine unapitia unasikia kutapika. Capital city. Alafu we want us to be counted among equals. It's very hard. Until in Africa we change our ways of doing things and we change our character. Tuache hii urafi. We will remain the same. Generation inakuja inaisha, tunaacha watu wetu na shida. Nobody will ever respect us if we don't change the way we do things. Mimi nimemaliza. Asante.
Asante sana Buru, asante sana Jeremiah, asante sana Awesome, asante sana those who have been giving us support for the last 1 hour 50 minutes. Maybe I get final submission from Jeremiah. Najua leo ni weekend pia, tutapatana kwa show pia. Najua ni past midnight and it's some time for rest as we wake up for Saturday duties.
Me, I have nothing much, Bon. Just wish that our political fabric would change. I don't know how it will change, but something tells me that the change would start with an enlightened electorate, so that people vote on issues People vote for leaders that inspire change, people's leaders that uh, stand for development, leaders that are transparent, honest, and dedicated to the cause of growing the country, as opposed to the type of people we elect now. I am very skeptical calling them leaders every time, if you've noticed, because in my world, everyone we have in parliament is not a leader. They are just individuals that won in an electoral contest. That's all. They have no leadership qualities. Zero. Zero. And if you go to, say, maybe for example, the National Assembly, you would probably find one or two people that you'd say are leaders. If you go to the Senate, the same. So I'm very skeptical calling them leaders. I call them winners of electoral contests. But until we change as the people that elect these people, it's not going to change. And I in my way of transforming Kenya, I don't know how far away I am from the presidency of Kenya. But if I were to be the president, I would not even aspire to arrest people. I would not even aspire to jail corrupt politicians and, technocrats of whatever previous regime. What I would aspire for most, and first of all, is transform our educational system so that I have aspects of honesty, integrity, truthfulness, leadership inculcated in our generations from the moment they start learning how to speak, to talk, to sing, to cry, to dance, and all. That means I will transform our education system from nursery, kindergarten, PP1, PP2, and all of that. The way I would say that is, I'm not going to change anything, but I'm going to plant a seed that in another 25 years, everyone will be so different in Kenya that if somebody were to wake up, they would be like, wow, okay? They would be shocked. I think that is where our answer lies. Let us transform our education system from as low down as possible so that we start, because nikwambie, born, sisi wote, we are rotten. Sisi tushakulwa na hii virus. There is no changing us. Wewe born, wewe sahi, ukiingia minister, I can guarantee you 99% you're going to be like all these people unakashifu sahi. Mburu wewe, the same. Mimi the same. We have been bitten by the virus. So the best way to change things is not to fight those who are already infected. Create a new crop of uninfected people. And the only way that can be done is through transforming our educational system. Japan has a very, very good education system. Finland has a very, very good education system. I would borrow from those and customize it to our situation and start from there. If God blesses you that you can be a dictator for 20 years, vile Kagame amekuwa Rwanda, see that transformation in the education system through, then you can change Kenya. But kushika watu ati now if somebody has stolen 5 billion baba yao, alafu unampiga fine ya 53 million, surely what are you doing? What are you doing? Kenya needs change, and I think that the leader who will come back with a strong backbone to say this change is not going to be achieved by trying to correct this generation that's already infected by this bad bug called corruption. I want to go to the roots and transform our education system. That is what I would do, and that's my submission.
Asante sana. Thank you so much, whoever turned for night show. Wishing you a blessed night, and we see each other here, same place, same time, 10 p.m. East African time, as we try to discuss also what is happening politically, and also as the weekend starts, we shall also discuss a little bit about sports. Same place, same time here in Africa 24 political discussion.